Welcome everybody to Okanogan Prospers. My name is Chanelle Carlin with Chanelle Carlin Weddings, and I am honored today to welcome you to episode 2 for 2021, season 2, of our great little show that we have talking about what makes Okanogan town so great and what makes it prosper. Today we will be meeting with Bess Derting Lafferty, attorney in town and president of the Chamber of Commerce. She's going to talk to us about why she loves Okanogan and thinks it's such a wonderful place to have a business, raise a family, all those great things. She might have some other things to share with us as well. So I am delighted to welcome you. And if you want to sit back for a minute, we'll be welcoming Bess here in just a little bit. Thanks. Okay, everybody, we are back with Bess Derting, and I am so excited. So you all know I shared with you a few minutes ago, and for those of you who don't know Bess is an attorney in town. She's also a multi-business owner, and she's the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And I am delighted to chat with you today, Bess, so thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me. You pressured me into this. I don't really like talking on screen like this, but no, I'm happy to be here. It's a good spring day.
You're so lovely. Thank you. I know this isn't your favorite way to engage with people, and not mine either. We both prefer face-to-face, but I really appreciate your willingness to do this. So for those who don't know, this is a very exciting day. We have a game that's happening later on this afternoon, and do you want to just talk about the game so that everybody knows?
Sure. Let me show everyone my shirt. Got this at Rawson's. We have a Gonzaga women's basketball game at 1:00 today. My cousin is Jill Townsend, and we all wish we were down in San Antonio to watch her in person. But if they win the next couple of games and make it to the Sweet 16, we're going to fly down for that. So we're having a watch party at the house at 1:00 today. So
very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, then I really do appreciate you fitting us in.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we love to do on Okanogan Prospers, I say we as in me, is just talk about why everybody thinks Okanogan is such a great place to live, work, have a business. And I know that you and your family are from here. So at some point you went away to college and you came back. What is it that made you want to come back here and live here and have a family here?
So I grew up here in Okanogan. My parents were both born here. I was born here. My husband was born here. So we have a long history in Okanogan. My family, I grew up on our family ranch on the Columbia River. We have a large cattle ranch. I grew up with 15 cousins all around me. We all grew up on the ranch together, and our parents used to tease us that they made us come to school so that we become socialized, so that we weren't just a little clan. So I'm very, very fortunate to have a very close family. That's my mom's side of the family. And then my dad's side of the family, my grandpa was the principal at the elementary school for 30 years. So he was the principal until I was in the 5th grade.
No getting away with anything in your school.
No, I actually was fortunate because I think being a granddaughter, I was the firstborn, and I think I was probably the favorite. So I got a lot of, knew all the teachers from birth. So I was pretty lucky that way. So that's my dad's family, and they all live here too. My grandmother's still alive, and our kids actually walk down to her house after school. So we're really, really fortunate. And that is the number one reason that I initially moved back to Okanogan. So I went to WSU for my undergraduate. Then I went to Gonzaga Law School for 3 years. And then I decided to move back to Okanogan after I found out that I was going to have a baby. So being around family was my number one priority. And I actually lived on the ranch at my parents' place for 10 years after I became an adult. So that really changes the dynamic in your relationship with your parents, which I was fortunate to become an adult, to be a friend, not just a daughter relationship. So family, number one to me. I'm married. 4 years ago, I got married. I married a guy from Okanogan. We actually went to high school together. So we have 2 high school daughters, and my son Johnny is in 7th grade. We spend 90% of our time following our children around to sporting events. All 3 of them play sports year round. And anyone that does any organizations knows that about me. I'm also in Rotary. And so juggling is a big part of my life. Owning a small business in Okanogan. We also have a little farm and 3 busy teenagers. Keeps things hopping. This last year has been very bizarre for us, having schools shut down, having sports shut down. We've spent a lot more time just being, not running from the next one thing to the next thing. So we've really missed that. We've missed what sports and activities provide for our kids. And really, it's part of our social life. Lots of our friends have children the same age. So we all kind of find ourselves moving in the same circles.
You spend all your time with them, really.
We do. So for me, coming back to Okanogan was all about family. I was not prepared to open a law practice. That's not something they really teach you in law school. So I took a year, got my feet wet, working at Baines Title. So I kind of got an introduction to the real estate world. And then when I decided to open a practice, it just was kind of a natural fit for me to move into the real estate. So I've been practicing for over 10 years, and I do almost all real estate and estate planning. So I'm as busy as I want to be. I hired Brandy Townsend about, I think the other day she said she's worked for me for like 6 years.
Wow.
So we were friends before, and now we're even closer friends. And I couldn't do the busy practice and busy life that I have without her. So
she's really amazing.
She is amazing. She's actually down in Texas right now, so I'm very jealous of her. And I'm also having to answer my own phone. And so things are a little crazy this week. So
with all of that in mind, Beth, because I know, and I know you love Okanogan, and what is it about Okanogan that you, besides, you know, and I think the reality is that everybody here has multiple things happening, right? This is such a family-oriented community in a lot of ways, and outside of 2020, which was just a weird year for everyone, and we've all changed all of our schedules and our way of living and our way of working, which, you know, it's not bad. It's just, it's way different.
Yeah.
What is it that you think makes Okanogan such an amazing place that people like you want to come back here? Because you could have come back and just seen your family and been nearby and maybe actually, you know, worked somewhere else without living with your parents. You know, and lots of people do that. But what is it, besides your family, what is it that you think makes Okanogan this place that people want to live and be and open a law practice, or businesses like Baines Title or Rawson's, or, you know, why do you think they want to do that?
I think for me, it's not any one thing. I think it's a combination of, it's a small town, which I've lived in cities, I've lived in small towns. The small town, I like walking down the street and knowing most of the people I see. I like going to the grocery store and seeing people that I want to see. I think there's deep roots here. So I think a lot of times people come back because of those roots. I do think it would be harder to be somebody, well, you could speak to this more than I could, somebody that doesn't have ties here that moves into the area.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a separate thing. But I think being from this area, I really, really appreciate our school district. So we have a fantastic school district. Okanogan, we've always had a good school district, but I think just probably in the last 10 years or so, we've become one of the best school districts in our area that kids parents try to get their kids there. They will move into our district. They will work hard because our district prioritizes kids. It's small, so you know everybody, which I think when you're raising kids is really helpful, just to know who your kids are with. If they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing, there's going to be 3 different parents that call me. So I think
Which never happens with your kids.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I think our school district, I think our priorities to celebrating our smallness. It was a big, so we lost our grocery store here probably 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And didn't have a grocery store. We had to drive to Omak. Well, I think it was 3 years ago now, the IGA moved in and our little town has embraced them. It is a big deal to have some place that you can go within a mile of where you work, go to the grocery store, run there at night. I'm probably in there 5 or 6 times a week. So I really appreciate the closeness of our community and the support. My mother died 3.5 years ago from cancer, and the support from our community was massive. And I know it's not just my family. Anytime our community finds out somebody's, going through tough times or they're struggling, just the little fundraisers, the outpouring of support, it makes a difference. So I think that with Okanogan, I think when you look at it's not one thing. It's a number of things that draw people closer. This last year, we're just going to discount this last year because it didn't reflect what we do as a small town. Our chamber had gotten some real motivation behind it, some people that were really involved and excited to be having events in our town. And between Okanogan Days, Harvest Fest, our hot summer nights, our back to school, our Farm Lights Parade, we were drawing large crowds into our little downtown. And we had a really good momentum going. This last year has gotten us off that momentum, but I think that now that we know we can do that and, get several hundred people into our downtown area, I just think that we'll be even more inclined to keep doing that as a chamber.
And enjoying that. It's one thing to have a small community and that close-knit feeling, but it's also great to welcome people to our town. People who are wanting to come and visit or come for an event. And speaking of events, we have a couple that are coming up. We have one coming up Memorial Day weekend, and then we have one the first weekend in June. Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah. So Memorial Day weekend, the Washington State High School Rodeo Association has decided to have their year-end rodeo at our fairgrounds. So our fairgrounds are about a mile and a half from downtown Okanogan. And this is a really big event. So there's kids from all over the state. I'd say typically they pick a larger area, but our fairgrounds, they've done a great job of doing some major improvements to the rodeo arena. And so having the High School Rodeo Association come and hold their finals here is a really big deal. It's going to draw hundreds of people from contestants, and these are high school kids. So their parents come, their grandparents, their little brothers, little sisters. So just the number of people that will be coming into town it's big, and it's a big deal for our small town. So I heard your cat.
I know, sorry, I'm trying really. Yeah, he loves to be heard. He's
just letting us know he's there.
He's decided he wants to go outside more frequently, and if I'm not, at his beck and call like a toddler, he's letting me know he's not happy.
Yeah.
I tried to shut him out of the office, but he just pushed the door open. So
that's a cat for you. Yeah. So then the first weekend of June, we have decided as a chamber that we are going to proceed with Okanogan Days. So we did not have Okanogan Days last year. We're going to have it this year. It may not look exactly like it did in 2019, but we're going to make it as darn close as possible.
We're going to make it fun.
We are going to make it fun. We will have a parade. We will have vendors, food vendors, arts and crafts vendors. Typically there's some kids games. Our local restaurants are always open. In 2019, we had our annual basketball tournament. We will not be having that this year just because it's a lot to put together, and it's also a higher contact event that we're probably just not going to be able to do this year. Hopefully, 2022, we'll be bringing that back.
Yeah.
So we're excited as a chamber. We're excited to be opening our town back up. I think we're all tired of not celebrating Okanogan. And really, in order to celebrate Okanogan, we have to get out on the street. We have to welcome people. We have to have events that people can come to, where they can come and go to the farmer's market. They can come and eat. They can watch a little parade. So I think that we're all excited to be opening again.
I would totally agree with that. I think you're spot on all of that. It's that's one of the things. Okanogan is one of those places where we live outside. We all do. We really we might work inside, and when it's super hot or super smoky, we're inside. But for the most part, this is a town and a county and a region where we live outside, and and we love to have people come see and come visit with us, and to really be shut off from all of that has been, I'd say it's been pretty difficult. Everybody's done the best that they can. But I would agree. I think we're ready to get back out there and to welcome people to our community.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
We are actually also, our chamber, our board meetings are back in person. So we meet at the club. We can only have 6 people, but that's typically about the size of our board meetings. So it's so nice. It's nice to see people in person. It's completely different to engage with people face to face than it is how we are right now.
Right. Which is how our meetings have been for the last year.
Absolutely. This is how my son's been doing school. It's really unfortunate, but I'm really excited that we're getting back to some normalcy.
It's great. It's great. And I'm so excited. Is there anything else, Bess, about Okanogan that you would like to share, or that you think that I haven't asked you about that you think would be good for folks who are watching this later to know?
I think one thing that people need to remember about Okanogan is, yes, we have a little downtown, but we also have so many, like you said, outdoor opportunities. So we butt up to state parks, national parks, the ability to hike, to snowmobile, to ski, lots of bodies of water. We're very, very fortunate. And I don't know that you recognize, like, it's hard for I oftentimes don't recognize it because this is where I've always lived. So I take it for granted. We live right on the Okanogan River, and we spend a good portion of our summer kayaking. We'll put in right in downtown Okanogan, right at the boat launch, and kayak right down to our house and get out in our front yard.
Nice.
So yeah. So, I mean, we live 30 minutes away from a ski hill. We are so fortunate in what we can do with a very small, we don't have to go very far.
Right.
And so for people looking for a place to vacation, we may not have a whole bunch of star-studded things to do downtown, but that's not why you come here. You come here for the outdoor experience.
Right.
We have several good places to eat, so you go spend your day outside, and then you can, there's places to go have good food afterwards. So sometimes I actually have a hard time promoting, because a good portion of what I like is that there's not a lot of people here.
It's a small community.
It is. I don't mind when people come and spend their money here and then leave. But it is part of part of why I love it here, is because we don't have a lot of the hubbub of large metropolitan places. Right. And I think I would actually probably say the majority of people that live here, they live here because they don't want that hubbub.
Yeah. Yep.
So
not the crazy.
So if you're
looking craziness with our schedules, but we don't want the craziness of the traffic,
right?
Or
exactly.
the crime rate,
right.
Or
Yes. Yeah. So we're very fortunate where we live, and I'm fortunate because my family also lives here, and my husband wants to be here. But I think it's also a great place. I know lots of people that vacation here. So.
All right. Well, thank you. So you all heard it. It's a great place to live. If you like a small town, it's a great place to vacation. Okanogan has a lot of really awesome things that we do normally outside of 2020. And this year we're getting started again with the Washington State High School Rodeo Finals at Memorial Day weekend at the Okanogan Fairgrounds. And then Okanogan Days, our Okanogan Day celebration, which will be happening the first Saturday in June. So that will be exciting. And there's going to be, that information will be posted on the website soon. All right. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, Bess. I really, really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.